Hey, everybody. Happy New Year. It's Adam Contos here. Just wanted to hop on a live broadcast here on several channels. Every year I've done this and it's kind of fun. So let's talk about 2022. Happy New Year. It's an incredible opportunity for all of us. And I get asked a lot. And, I wrote a book, Start with a Win. I get asked, hey, how do I start the new year with a win? Well, I want to share with you my thoughts on that briefly on this quick live here, and I have a few things to chat with you about. So let's get right into it. How do we start 2022 with a win? You woke up, you're either in a great place, or maybe you need some aspirin and a little bit of water or something like that. Who knows? But the reality is, here we are. And here we go. So we can't deny that. We got to get rocking and rolling and really hit the ground running in 2022, because this is our first opportunity to make some things happen for this year. So what do we need to do to get rocking here? Well, first of all, got to have a plan. Got to have a plan. That's the first thing here. You have to make a plan. Just don't start rolling into this week without a plan. A lot of people would call that a New Year's resolution, but the reality is it's a plan. It's a plan for execution to create results. And the plan's not going to do it for you. You have to do it for the plan in order to make things happen. You got to have a vision for the year. In fact, I was talking to my friend the other day. He's the chaplain for Douglas County Sheriff's Office, Tim. A lot of you know him. He said, hey, take a look at Proverbs. And so I went and looked at it, and he's like, this is a great business plan for your life. And, it's fascinating because a lot of business strategy is written in the books of over history, including the Bible and other religious documents. And there's an interesting statement in the Bible that says, where there is no vision, people perish. And it's fascinating because what's that say? Have a plan. Have a plan in your life. Have a plan in your business. Have a plan in your relationships. And I'm gonna cover a lot of those different pieces. And where can you get a plan? Well, the reality is we need to figure that out ourselves and make a plan that we will follow. And you only follow a plan with consistent, focused effort. Consistent, focused effort every single day. And don't miss a day. Even if you don't want to do your plan, it's okay. We all don't want to do our plans. You just have to do those, because you'll always rationalize a way out of that. So, what's your plan? Well, you need to sit down and write it out. You need to sit down and figure out what is your plan. I'm going to give you 8 places in your life to come up with your plan and say, where am I performing the best? Where am I performing the least? So, the second thing, yes, we're all going to make a plan. Let's all agree to that. The second thing is, what are you up against in accomplishing your plan? And I can tell you the number one thing you're up against is your biggest critic. Your biggest critic. You know who that is? It's you. Your biggest critic is you. My biggest critic is me. The reason that I don't do something I know I need to do is because I try and rationalize my way out of it. We're the only one on this planet who can give ourselves excuses to not accomplish what we want to do. That's it. It's about you giving yourself permission to do these things. It's also about you not being critical of yourself when you do these things, because we all know that first time we show up at the gym, or that first time we change our diet or whatever, and frankly, all the times after that, it's going to suck, and we're going to be critical of ourselves. The first time you get on video, on social media, whatever it might be, and you're like, hey, I'm no good at this, so I'm not going to do this. So think about that. But the reality is, stop being your own critic. Stop being your own critic. Just be you and go after it. It's okay. Little kids don't have critics. They look for critics. And it's interesting. I remember watching a presentation one time. The speaker was talking about, he walked into a room full of like kindergartners and first graders and stuff, and said, who's a great artist? And everybody raised their hand. Why? Because nobody told them they weren't a great artist. You go to music class in an elementary school, everybody's singing and they're enjoying themselves. Why? Because there are no critics yet. They haven't learned how to be critical of themselves. Well, the reality is we try to talk ourselves out of everything in life. We shouldn't do that. We should give ourselves opportunity to do things. Even if you are out of shape and you don't want to go to the gym because you don't want to be seen there in front of other people, you don't know how to use the equipment or something like that, go and ask. Just be vulnerable and open up. Maybe you're ashamed to look at your bank account, or maybe you're in business for yourself, or you run a business and your business isn't doing what you want it to do. Don't avoid it. Don't be your best critic because you can, and you can give yourself the excuse not to deal with it. Don't listen to those voices. Just go do it and execute on it all the time. So know what you're up against. And does that really matter? No, it doesn't. Just go do it. And give yourself permission to do so. And if you need to, just look yourself in the mirror and say, I give you permission to do this. Go do it. And tell yourself to go do it. And your biggest critic is motivating you now. So next thing, understand how you think and act. Take a step back, take a breath, understand the anxiety that you bring to the table when it comes to these things, and the place you need to be in to overcome that anxiety. And it's great when you realize that, because it allows you to overcome those things, because we all have these internal barriers to success. Again, back to our critic. But just understand how you think. Understand that you're going to choose the easy over the difficult, or you're going to try to. Understand that you're going to choose the sugar over the healthy food or something of that nature. And consciously think about that. Don't subconsciously go through life, because at the end of the day, you'll consciously wake up and go, I didn't get anything done today. How do you get there? Well, it's through realization of knowing who you are, how you think, and act. And then the fourth thing that I'm going to say before I get into these 8 points that I think you need to think about in your life when you're creating your goals and your wins for 2022, create accountability. We hate that word, right? What's accountability? Well, there are these two things. There's accountability and there's responsibility. Okay. Being accountable or having accountability means basically you're accounting for what you've done or didn't do. All you're doing is listing it. You're writing it down. You're stating it as a fact. You're witnessing it, not judging it. So essentially, what's accountability? Accountability is just accounting for what's happened. It's accounting. Accounting is purely what occurred or what didn't occur. So what you could write for the day is, what did I do? What did I not do that I wanted to do? That's just accounting. That's accountability. Accountability in your business, accountability in your life, accountability for how do we get things done? Okay. So that's accountability. And then there's responsibility. Responsibility is understanding the consequences of the accountability. So people are responsible for their actions. They're accountable to the facts. Think about that. People are responsible for their actions. They're accountable for the facts. So the facts are, if you're writing it down and painting a picture of it, what does it look like? Responsibility is, what are the consequences of that? Of eating poorly, not exercising, not being in communication with your relationships, not making those phone calls to your customers to get one more customer, one more deal, one more outreach, build one more relationship, things like that. So think about those. All right, let's talk about the 8 parts of your life you need to think about. And I get these 8 parts from a very special book. Let me show you here. Here it is. It's Living Your Best Year Ever. It's by our good friend Darren Hardy. Hey, Darren, if you're watching this, I live my life and start my year and finish my year based on this book. I love this book. So there's a link I shortened it up because it was really long. There's a bit.ly link at the bottom of the whole broadcast here if you want to get it. But ultimately, what's in this book? And here's mine right here. Ta-da! I write 2022 on it. I have one for each of the years. So this book covers 8 parts of your life and how to accomplish around those. This is just part of the book, but ultimately what this book is, it's a workbook that has all sorts of different things to fill out in here to account for what you're doing and plan for things and the execution and measure the results on that. But there are 8 parts of your life that you need to think about. And what I want you to think about is, on a scale of 1 to 10, where are you at with each of these and where can you be? Okay. It's your mental situation. mental health has been a huge deal, especially during COVID. It's really shined a light on how well we have provide self-care for ourselves, and how well people that we recognize provide self-care for themselves, and we care for each other, and how do we feel in our own skin. And so you want to take a look at that, your lifestyle, your business, and you're like, well, don't we do a business plan? Okay, well, hello, business is 1/8 of your life. And I can tell you one thing, your business plan is not going to work if the other 7 parts that are listed here are not in alignment. So this is balancing all of these pieces. So it's taking all of these pieces, because all of these pieces help the other pieces. So think about that. So financial, have you been afraid to open up your bank account and take a look at it? Well, guess what? You have to be conscious, aware, and accountable to that as well, and set your goals. Are you managing that the way that you need to? Because another year just passed, by the way. Did you take advantage of the opportunities financially that you could have? Physical, big one for me. You got to start the day right. I start the day, I wake up every morning at 4:30. You're like, you're nuts, Adam. Hey, I go to bed at like 9:30 or so. Call me what you want, but the reality is I get my sleep and I get my exercise, and I'm hitting the ground running every day during my very productive times after having great exercise, great nutrition, and a great mindset, and it helps me every day. So plan your day however you want, but the reality is we're designed to sleep when it's dark. Focus on that. We're designed to exercise in the morning to get our bodies going. Think about that. Go after it. Okay. Relationships. This is huge. How are you doing with your relationships? Have you connected with everybody? Are you trying to connect with everybody? Make sure you're doing this right. Family. I have a rule. I tell each of my family members I love them so many times a day. It goes in my book, and I make sure that I accomplish that. It's important to me. And then spiritual. Whether or not you go to church all the time or who knows what it is, the reality is you have to have faith and vision in accomplishment. And there are different ways to get that for each of us. But find your way and focus on it, because that's an internal drive that keeps us going and keeps us focused. And it allows us to push back against our biggest critic, ourselves. So, rank all these on a 1 to 10. Rank them on a 1 to 10. Where are you at? Put them on a wheel, like a clock. There's 8 of them, but there's 12 points on the clock. Find where to put the rest. And is it a flat tire or is it perfectly round? Starting with 0 in the middle and 10 all the way outside on the circle. Here's the circle, or the wheel on Darren's book. Pretty important when you look at that, because it tells you where you're out of balance and what you need to focus on or increase. So anyhow, create this intentional balance. And my question for you then is, how will you take action on these things? Because you need to take action every single day on these things. And you're going, this is a lot of stuff. It's really not. It's how we live our lives anyway. It's just, where do we put that effort? And we all focus on it. So think about this. Because this is the first try of the year. Let's make it a good one. Let's focus. It's okay to take days off. It's okay to relax and take vacation and things like that. I'll tell you what, I still exercise on vacation. I love it. And I still watch what I eat on vacation, because if you're in the ballpark 80% of the time, that other 20% is, gives little joys in your life. And thank you to my wife for pointing that out to me. But anyhow, I just wanted to stop by and help you see some things in 2022 as we begin the year, and begin with a really good year. Thanks everybody for those comments. Happy New Year to you all, and good morning. I see so many of my friends on here, but anyhow, let's do 2022 right. Who's with me? Give me a yes in the comments if you're with me, or you can just say yes to yourself. But remember, it's time to act. It's time to take action. It's time to have an amazing 2022. I'm right there with you, right along the way, and we'll see you soon. Love you guys. Thanks for all you do. Happy New Year.